5 minutes.
Chair, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from October 16, 2025.
Support.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Next item is open the floor for the public hearing of zoning text interpretation of section 4.12.1, permitted land uses within the CBD Central Business District for 19435 Sumpter Road, Belleville, Michigan 48111.
Chair, I'll make a motion to open the public hearing as read by the chair.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Public hearing is open.
Okay.
Welcome officially.
Okay. Okay, so, this is your time to question, did they sign anything in, Sam? Okay, okay. So you have the opportunity to go to the podium and state your name and address.
Hello, my name's Stephen Edwards. My address is 48499 Willis Road, representing 19435 Sumpter Road, the commercial property. We're coming to you today to ask for, I guess, a special permit use based off for a plumbing company. When we initially bought the building, it was zoned commercial C2, which would allow the business. It has such time changed since we bought it, which I wasn't aware that it was going to affect what could be used in the garage itself. I understand the township wants retail and resale on the Sumpter Road side that's visible to the road, but the space in which we're talking about doesn't have an upfront window or address. It's the suite number 5 in the back with a large garage door, and it's mainly commercial industrial usage. It has 3-phase power and the largest pumps and taps the township would allow, so it's drastically overkill for anything to do with resale or retail itself as a business. It's mainly meant to be a service or storage in a way, you know, a large inside warmed heated area. Past that, we were looking for businesses to go along with and thrive with already pre-existing businesses. So I was looking for established businesses that would go along with the Ace Hardware itself, like the Ace Hardware, the gas station, the bar. I mean, basically that's what we have down there currently. So I was trying to put businesses in the building that would reflect what we already have and would use, you know, other businesses around us. Like if they're going to use the gas station, they're going to be inside of Ace, they're going to attend to the bar. Like, I mean, past that, I don't really know of any other use I could possibly make that would go along with what you're asking for under the new CBD guidelines. And honestly, if you needed us to sell plumbing supplies and equipment, we could, but I wasn't trying to do that to have anything to reflect anyway poorly with the Ace Hardware, since they already supply all the supplies. Like, do you have any questions for us, or?
Okay.
I do.
Okay.
Will you guys be storing things outside of that?
Mainly,
Building.
Frank has a couple trucks, mostly they're jet trucks. That's why you needed the inside storage, was for heat. The trucks need to be heated, they're water trucks, so they can't freeze outside in the winter. So basically, most of the storage is indoors, if any. I mean, he's just like any other business. They have company vehicles, you know what I mean? Like, the company vehicles stay at the company generally. Like, if you're asking me if it's gonna be outside storage, like stuff sitting and staying for long periods of time, no. Just normal business use and movement.
Okay, so there won't be any materials that you guys are going to be setting outside?
No,
Any
No.
plumbing materials or anything?
no.
Chair. So these are vac trucks.
Yes.
Is what they are. So
Jet truck, vac truck. Frank could answer the question better, but I mean, it's for underground plumbing equipment, like, you know, jetting of the sewer systems and things like that. Frank's been around for a long time. The company's based out of Carleton. I mean, he works with Carleton schools. I mean, the reputation's there.
So I haven't been behind there, so usually the vac trucks are sizable.
They're not back trucks, they're regular 1-ton Ford transit vans with jets in them, for
Okay,
like jetting
gotcha.
sewer cleanup.
Gotcha. Yep.
And then I have other trucks that would be, you know, just company trucks that we drive to work every day, you know, no equipment, no material will be outside. Just our vans and,
And will your van stay there overnight?
yes.
Okay.
Were you guys,
How many trucks and vans are you speaking of?
That will be outside.
Mhm.
full.
Okay.
And they're all lettered, and that's why we're also asking too to put up a fence. And we put a fence up where you won't see it from the road.
Okay.
You know, as long as that passes the building, we'll put up a fence there where you can't see through from the little nail salon he has over to the woods, and everything will be behind that. There'll be no outside material, all material will be inside. The only thing that's outside is the vehicles that we drive to work, you know, to service people's homes and stuff.
I have one other question. As reading this, I see that there's 8 outstanding violations or citations.
There's nothing outstanding right now.
No, okay,
There's
that's all been
nothing out-
taken care of.
You know,
Thank you.
So the background to that, excuse me, is during last few years, there was a building inspection that was performed at the building in question, and the building inspector did find a few outstanding items, which are those 8 items that I've listed. I have not coordinated with the building department as of today to determine if those have been closed out. I know that the applicant was down here the last few weeks to apply for some inspections. Whether or not they have all been closed out, I do not know, but in terms of your decision, before any other use could be going in here, that those violations would need to be closed out, and I would ensure with the building department that they are before granting us for a business license.
Okay.
So we don't, have you been issued your C of O yet for the building?
we came to you guys first, so this was the next step. He applied for the CFO. This is the path they led us to. So we were coming to you guys before. He's offered the check. All the paperwork's been done correctly. Any inspections we need to do or anything we need to do to get up to date for you guys, we have no problem with. That's a non-issue on this end. So whatever you guys need from us, we're more than willing. I'm really just trying to add to the downtown in any way that I can that makes sense to the community. And I mean, as far as I know, there's no brick and mortar plumbing company in any of Van Buren, Belleville, or Sumpter. I know there's a lot of at-home businesses, but there's not one with a brick and mortar address. So, I mean, along between that and then the Ace Hardware itself, I think it adds, options. I can add other businesses that go along with that too. We have 3 to 4 more open spots that we were talking about, adding a laundromat, a coffee shop, an executive office, and then potentially we have 2 spots for expansion upstairs. There's a attic space that we could expand into 2 public apartment there's enough room for 2 apartments upstairs. So I mean, I can make downtown into whatever you guys see as a vision. I just need a little guidance on what you'd like to see and the business you'd like to see in there. As of right now, like finding any retail or resale business, the longevity for those businesses are low. They don't thrive. It's 10% nationwide on how long you make it as a resale or retail company. So I would prefer to bring in established businesses that have been in the community and around for, multiple years. But, you know what I mean? I don't want it to go flash in the pan and it just be a quick thing. So any other, ideas or, I mean, really anything, any help would be appreciated on our end. I've come to the township more than once and asked for a little bit of guidance, and here we are. So, I mean, anything you guys want to see, we're more than willing to help with.
Okay.
Mr. Clark, if it's approved, is this your only location, or do you have trucks in other
No,
facilities?
this will be my only one.
Okay,
I mean, and some of the trucks that the guys take home, they don't come to the shop.
Okay.
I have a few guys that don't send trucks home.
We'll leave it at that, right?
well, leave it there.
I know you guys don't know us well, but I'm very picky about our stuff. Like, we got all new vans, new equipment that we use when we're on the job. We wash them, we put them inside. I keep taking, they're expensive. I don't want stuff sitting outside unless I have to. And the vans, I got to. You just can't put them all inside.
Okay.
And then, like you said, and then if we're allowed a fence, you'll never know where they're at.
Yeah, most of, any of the spots, mostly we can park behind the building. You wouldn't see regardless unless you were standing on a kitty corner. But if we add a fence, you'd never be able to see any of it. So and it would secure the location for, you know, just everyone in general.
Okay. So, any other questions for Mr. Edwards?
Are you guys thinking about doing anything with the parking lot?
The parking lot is getting crushed mullen put in the next 2 weeks. We didn't do anything with the parking lot because we've been told multiple times that there was talk of downtown development. So I didn't want to put in the front parking lot and then have it ripped out for sidewalks. And that's what, it's been mentioned, but it's been mentioned for years, and I didn't know where to go with it. So I didn't, you know what I mean? Like, I too would like to fix the parking lot 100%, but I didn't want to fix it and then have to remove it for further use, so.
There's also the issue of like paving it because of the water that runs off of the road. It's just like, you know what I'm saying? So like, I don't think
What is the
paving
requirements on
it.
it? Isn't it required to be hard surfaced?
During site plan review, any sort of use that has the potential to bring increased traffic, the hard surfacing requirements do require that with any new uses. There is flexibility in terms of that construction. There's some criteria that need to be met and determined by the planning commission as to whether or not to waive that. And I can pull it up in 1 second here.
You know, I've heard, you know, about the putting in the sidewalks and things, but you would be safe doing the parking lot because the sidewalks go in the easement, right? You can't make parking part of the easement.
I understand it,
Yeah,
just
yeah,
my easement runs right up to the road.
Right.
So like, I'm kind of like, you know, if I haven't put the strips in all the way through the road, they're gonna rip back out like 300 feet by 10 foot wide of a front. It just, I was hoping in the long, we'd be able to correspond both to have the sidewalks, the entrances, and then pave the parking lot all at one time, but like, you know how it is. We've heard it for years. I mean, I'm all for it, and any way we can help. And that's, the last time we talked about it, that I heard anything, is that we needed a certain amount of business growth within the township to qualify for state aid in that.
Now, there's always stipulations on how to get grants and
That's what
how
I-
to get, you know, aid. Unfortunately, now, like, the county is wanting, you know, the township, they wanna pave the rest of Judd Road, but they want the township to add $1 million to the cost, right? And so, you know, it comes and it goes. They're willing to put the 2 million towards it, but they want us to add $1 million to it.
Yeah.
So, which is a whole nother discussion, because I think the county should pave it and be on their dime. We pay our taxes to the county, and they should take care of our roads, so.
Fair enough.
But yeah, there's always, you know, we tried to get if you've been there long enough to remember, we tried to get a DDA.
Yeah.
And when we went, we got a lot of pushback from the residents because of that whole strip there. If you turned it into a DDA, if your house burnt, you couldn't rebuild it. You know, it turned into commercial property, and so there was, you know, things that came up with that, but when we went to the county didn't want us to do it either, because
Right.
at that time was the lowest point in taxes. Everybody's taxes had dropped, the home values had gone down, and what happens with the DDA is that the taxes get capped, and any increase then comes to the DDA. There would have been such a huge amount of money go to the DDA that the county didn't want to do that, so they were not willing to help us get the DDA set up there,
Right.
so. Little history there.
I appreciate it.
But there's one other thing too, is if we do get approved, or even if you give us like a year thing, you know, so we can prove it. This lady here don't sit still, the water pots, everything's gonna be all redone. It might not be paid.
That's gonna look nice.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that would be
Yeah.
Yeah.
we'll do the curb appeal for sure, I already know.
Well, I think, you know, the biggest hurdle is, you know, is getting the asphalt and getting that stuff taken care of. Because, you know, that's what really makes the businesses on the downtown area look nice, is to have, you know, good parking lots, they're striped, you know, they look nice, and, you know, it is a requirement on any new development that you have hard surfaced, parking
But are
lots.
we able to put stone down for temporary?
I mean, it is crushed melon.
Yeah, it sounds like it had to go through the planning commission.
Okay.
You know,
It is.
that-
It was always, when we bought it, the lot, it was
Yeah.
dirt.
Yeah.
We added the crushed melon. Like, so like, where we are, I mean, the property located to where that water line is, we were just trying to stay away from any of that back there. So mainly that was the real issue with it. But I have other businesses ready to go in there based off of this decision mainly. Like, and
I
they're-
heard about the laundromat.
the laundromat, I already have the infrastructure set up. All the power's already there. The water pumps and taps are already set up. So I mean, really, it's just setting the business up itself.
Yeah.
The coffee shop's pretty straightforward. I can have that done within the next 3 months. And then the third one is an executive office that I already have a business that wants to move into. So I mean, I have the availability to go from nothing to everything all at once with a little help from you guys. So I mean.
Okay, any other questions for Mr. Edwards?
But I think, you know, you kind of answered the question for yourself. If you got that many businesses ready to go and, you know, we want businesses,
Yeah.
you're probably looking at
Definitely.
having to asphalt that and have a proper.
Yeah, I have no problem adding to that. Yeah, I honestly, like I said, I didn't add to it mainly because I was holding out for them sidewalks. Like I was really hoping and praying.
Well, I've lived here lots of years and I haven't seen the sidewalks yet. Okay. Any other questions for Mr. Edwards?
No questions?
No? Okay, we'll let you sit down. Next person, I assume, is your spouse, Cindy Edwards?
So that would be I'm his mother.
Oh, his mother. I apologize. You,
Well, you look very young.
Young.
I think that's what I think that's what I
That was a
took from that, is
compliment.
that you're very young.
But I think Steve pretty well covered everything.
Okay.
I was just asking to get it stone and temporary.
okay,
You know, which will clean it up a lot
right.
until we can get moving forward.
You know, I do have one more question. Whereabouts are you looking at putting the fence? Because when I looked at this, that's the first thing I thought about, was having that fenced in and, you know, the trucks behind there, and it would really make
If
it
you
look
look
nice.
From where the green building is, the hair salon, from the corner of that stretching across, so all the front parking lot would be open to the front businesses.
Okay.
Everything behind would be Frank's.
Okay.
And it would stretch from the back corner of the green building across the lot itself. It would not only break the parking lot up, but like you wouldn't be able to see the vehicles unless you really came onto the property to look. But if you added the fence in any way, I mean, at that point,
So the fence was very appealing, because, you know, when the maintenance company had moved in there, they had a lot of unsightly vehicles that
I
were parked up
understand.
in there, yeah, so it really would look nice,
I got rolled
yeah.
on that just as much as everyone else, and was told that those were gonna be coming in and out daily.
Yeah.
And they were a thriving business, and
Yeah.
needless to say, that was not the case.
There were some issues there.
Yeah, and I've since they've left, and I've dealt with, so I mean, they pretty much just disappeared in the middle of the night one night.
Yeah,
No,
yeah, but I see that, because I see you'd gotten it cleaned up, because they left a big
the
mess, yeah.
trucks, they left everything.
Yeah.
So like, it was kinda, it took so long, because I had to go through the process of all the paperwork of, this is abandoned. and
Right.
you know, so couldn't just move it.
okay,
Not fun.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, it wasn't.
Yeah, that was never a good time.
okay, and the next person on the sign-in is Frank Clark?
That was me, but I think I answered everything you guys need to know. I mean, I really don't have nothing to say, but like
Okay,
I said, we'll clean it up. And you talk about asphalt, the part behind the fence, I would prefer it not to be, because, you know, you come in and you're turning in that back. I mean, I don't think you would consider that part of the parking lot though, behind the fence.
Well, I think a lot of it is anywhere you're parking vehicles, they want hard surface on there because of the potentials of oils and stuff getting into the soils. You know, the hard surface is what, you know, gives a little bit of protection.
Okay,
Correct me if I'm wrong.
okay.
okay. Any other guests have anything, or any of our board members have any more questions? No?
No.
We're gonna let our planner speak.
Thank you. So yeah, the reason we're all here today is because within the CBD Central Business District, I've also outlined the uses on page 3 and 4 of my report. There's no clear, distinct use that could be interpreted as plumbing contractor that's allowed in the CBD district. So with that in mind, that's why an interpretation will be necessary through the board to determine if the use that is proposed is similar or similar in nature to what is already listed in the ordinance. So that's the reason we're here today, and the applicant has already kind of indicated what's the proposed use is. And you can see on page 2 of my report, the intent of the CBD is to provide for office buildings, a variety of retail. They're designed to prevent or promote pedestrian shopping and retail developments by having that continuous frontage, which the applicant has indicated will be preserved along Sumpter Road. It's going to be more in the back corner. And you'll see in the interpretation considerations various findings that we've determined. And in essence, normally a plumbing contractor isn't typically located in central business districts. Usually it's more retail, where there's the sales services that's having customers go into the building, where with a plumbing contractor, you're normally seeing the service leave the premises and go to a client or something that's not within the district. So that's normally where you wouldn't see plumbing contractors. But in this, by what's proposed, it seems that site improvements with the laundromats and the other uses that are proposed by the applicants, this would be more tucked away to where it's not visible from the street, but still providing space for business in the township. So we feel that while it's not typically permitted in the CBD district, there is a case where you, the board members, can interpret, which is a duty provided by the ordinance, that the proposed use is consistent with the intent of the CBD district and the zoning ordinance. So if there's any other questions you had for me, I'd be happy to answer them.
Chair, should we go ahead and move to close the public hearing and then we
can
can
discuss it?
continue our discussions? I'll make that motion to close the public hearing unless we have any other comments or,
Unless you guys have any more questions for us.
Yeah.
No.
we may have some more, but we're gonna close the public hearing.
Support.
Sounds good? I made a motion.
Okay, all in favor?
Support.
And Marie,
Yep.
all in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Public hearing is closed. Now we need to talk or ask questions. Okay. So Matt, you said you had,
No, my questions have pretty much, been answered,
Okay.
they're, regarding the paving, the fencing, the screening, I'm assuming there'll be some type of screening on there, these days they make that beautiful stuff now, the green stuff, you can just attach right to the fence, yeah. It makes it look nice. I personally think that, it fits within, the intent of, our central business district. We are a farm community, so our business district is a little different in some, respects to, other,
communities.
other communities in areas.
We do want businesses.
Well, I like the idea of the fence, and so it kind of sections it off, because we've used the fence requirement and other things that we've been discussing on the planning commission. Plus, it's a little more protection for their stuff.
So would they then have to go back to the planning commission?
With the proposed uses that have been mentioned, I would say yes, just due to the increased traffic that would be coming from that. And what we would need to see is just pretty much a site plan, not a fully blown engineered site plan, but enough to show that, the paving is gonna be there, where parking is intended. And while there may not be specific uses and, tenants may change over time, as long as there's enough parking shown to handle the capacity of what is generally allowed in the CBD district, that's what the commission will look for. And then even if tenants do change, they won't have to come back and get approval for every time some new business comes in. And they'll be able to handle that administratively through the building department.
Is there an option for us to be able to add these stipulations to the ZBA ruling so that they don't have to go back to the planning commission, like the paving and the fencing? Our next planning commission is December, I believe. I don't think you'd be able to get the paperwork together by then, so now you're pushing them off until January. I'd like to be able to, walk out of here tonight with enough of an approval, with enough stipulations that they don't have to be held up waiting to come back to a planning commission meeting if that's possible.
Okay. So
Obviously, with the direction of the ZBA, then the zoning administrator can then, administer, the things through the zoning that needs to be, taken care of that, may not have to go back to the planning commission. So I don't want to rush that decision. I want you to think about it as we talk here, but, it would be January before you got to come to a planning commission meeting if we don't try to solve it tonight, as far as, we think it's a good idea, we like it. If we have the paving and the fencing put in there, I don't know what else would have to go before the planning commission for approval, as long as they have all of the setbacks and the green space and everything else in there, they wouldn't have to seek any other variance, right? Because we don't have those site plans to be able to see, is there gonna be a variance for green space that, you know, because they can't meet it or anything like that, so obviously that would have to come back if it's not in compliance.
Correct. I believe, based on what we've discussed, it seems like the board wants a motion of approval for this use based on the fact that while there are hard servicing requirements, the business and the use could still be established prior to that, contingent on the fact that fencing is put up, and then until more uses are introduced, that paving is introduced just prior to those being established. Is that what the board is?
Well,
Yeah,
pretty much, I think, you know, setting the fencing, which, you know, you normally, the applicants as far as what it looks like, you know, with the proper, could be worked out. I don't know if we wanna wait till, you know, the fourth business is in there, but, you know, I think it should be worked on, you know, first, ahead of time, and, you know, that way we're moving forward. Because I think if we don't require it to start, then I think you gotta go to the planning commission, right? Because, you know, it has to be waived.
right.
So if we don't require it here as part of the approval, it then has to go back to the planning commission, because the planning commission is the only other body that can waive, you know, those paving rights.
Well, currently the plan was to use crushed melon, which would for a certain amount of time, it is gonna look paved. It'll look at least like it's been asphalted for a short period. But that was gonna mainly be done so like extend, it just flatten back out the driveway. I mean, that's mainly where we're at. Like I said, when we moved in, it was dirt. So like it's been over years of buildup of,
Yeah.
and then the asphalt is a goal. But I mean, currently I would rather not lay asphalt in December. I'd rather lay asphalt in March or April, like once we dried again. So I mean, whatever, I have no problem with increasing the property revenue in any way we can.
Yeah.
So like, I agree.
Yeah, I mean, certain things you can't do in the winter, right?
The
So-
fence is definitely a requirement that Frank would like, so whatever you guys require for shape, color, sizing, like, we're more than fine.
Yeah, I mean, I think as part of it, we could say it has to be, you know, the paving has to be accomplished by, you know, June of, you know, 26 with a time limit on it. But if we don't do that,
Yeah.
by the ordinance, you have to go to the planning commission for a variance.
Okay.
Am I interpreting that correctly, Joe? As far as you know?
I believe with the interpretation that can be made by the board, I know with the off-street parking that is specifically delegated to the planning commission, but I believe what the board can do is, with a motion of approval, grants, I guess, a variance of the hard surfacing requirements for the use within a certain time frame, and then what could be done is, as long as the applicant provides the necessary documents for the building departments and the township engineer to determine that the off-street parking, the asphalt, will be constructed to the engineering standards of the township, that they can wait, establish their uses, and then come in later and pave the lot.
If they do it within that time frame that we select.
I believe that would be a reasonable motion that the ZBA can make.
Okay.
That doesn't affect their C of O or anything like that, right? Any of the stipulations that we would be putting?
That's a good question. I don't think it would, because I guess, yeah, the variance has been granted until at least June, so if that's the time limit the board wants, once June hits, I guess we would have to reassess if the applicant comes forth and says, you know,
I have
there's,
no problem going through with the planning portion, you guys are paying whatever steps you'd like.
I guess, yeah, I guess if June comes, or whatever time limit the board puts on, and, you know, there's been unforeseen circumstances that's prevented the paving, then we can just have them go to planning commission to go for that
That time.
official approval.
Okay.
Yeah, so what you're saying is if it doesn't happen by June, then they would have to come to the planning commission for, you know, any other variance from paving.
Correct, yes, for the off-street parking requirements, because that's a power delegate by the planning commission.
I mean, whatever we can do to get it done tonight, and they don't have to come back to the planning
Right.
commission.
Correct.
That's why I asked that.
Yep.
Okay. Any other questions, comments? Joe, is there anything else?
Well, it seems like since the board is in favor of the proposed use in the plan regarding hard surfacing requirements, I'd recommend the board passes a motion pretty much stating that they've interpreted that the proposed plumbing contractor business is a permitted use that is similar to other uses listed in the CBD district and is granting a waiver with the timeline of their choosing, the board's choosing, for hard surfacing requirements to be delayed until proper construction can be done and approved by the township and the engineer.
Okay.
That was an awful long motion, Joe.
Yes, it was.
Just write what he said.
We've got a video of it.
Yeah.
Oh,
We need to put a date, an actual date, not just June. So should we say June 30th, 2016? I mean, 2026? Woo.
2016,
I'm tired, guys.
June 30th it is.
Okay, so is that our motion?
yeah, I wanna make sure we clarify the motion.
Right.
You know, I know we have it on tape, but I just wanna make sure that, you know, we've got everything in there, cause I'd hate to close out the meeting and then we forgot something.
We forgot
so,
something.
So I'd ask that, you know, we take that second to kinda
Yeah.
revisit what we just put together and make sure that we got it all right, because once you close it out, you gotta schedule another meeting, and I don't wanna see that, so.
Yeah. And do we need to put in there the fencing, the locked fencing?
Yep. Trying to get that down. So we have a
Not
good,
forgetting anything.
Right.
yeah, so I'm writing it down for us, so we have a good motion.
I just noticed that when you said it. She said you said it.
All right, Chair, I think I've got the motion. It would be the motion to approve that the plumbing service is consistent with the permitted use in the CBD, with the requirement to fence the leased area and asphalt the parking lot by 6/30/2025.
Okay. that's our motion.
26.
26. Thank you.
Well, at least you didn't go back 10 years.
Move into the future, move into the future. Yes, if anybody has anything to add, you know, that we potentially may have missed. Joe, do we have anything that we need to add to that, that you need to see? Obviously, that you still have a site plan and stuff, you know, that still needs to be reviewed. So, do we need to add that in there?
I would also add to that use, outdoor storage of the vehicles. And then if there's a certain number the board wanted to see maximum, they could also be added in, but if not, then no worries there. I would also say, so the intent of the board is to still have a site plan submitted by the applicant, correct?
Mhm. Yeah,
Okay.
I think so.
Okay, so then I would also just add,
Yeah, that's just for the file, so that you make sure that the setbacks and all the proper things that, you know, go along the outside of this,
Right,
that
and the
are
fencing is
in
within.
accordance with the ordinance, because
Right.
we're not discussing those items here today, so you
Mhm.
have to make sure that they're in order, and as long as they're in order with the ordinance, they don't have to go anywhere else. I mean, it's approved.
I guess essentially, with submittal of a site plan, to be administratively approved by the zoning administrator and township engineer and fire department.
So I'll say final approval
Of site plan.
final approval contingent on, how do you want that, Joe?
Just contingent on township staff review and approval.
Township review of site plan and requirements. Does that work? We want to be specific, we don't want to leave anything out.
I would say that covers most of it, or all of it.
Probably ordinance requirements.
Yeah.
Okay, so here we go, I'll read this again. And then I won't read it again, so this will be my motion,
Okay.
as long as I don't mess it up. Motion to approve that the plumbing service is consistent with the permitted use in the CBD with outdoor storage, with the requirements to fence the leased area and asphalt the parking lot by June 30th, 2026. Final approval is contingent upon township review of the site plan and ordinance requirements.
Okay. That's our motion.
Nailed it.
Okay.
All right. All I need is a second.
Right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries.
So we're moving forward.
Okay. And
Thank you.
thank you. And now we have open floor. You're welcome to ask any questions or whatever, or anybody on our board, anybody that has any questions? Okay.
So can I start moving like the van parking inside, to like cleaning up and doing painting, and you said upon approval of site plan, but I still don't have the okay to start putting stuff in.
Yeah, you got, the area that you're gonna be occupying, the storage area, and Joe cut me off and take over when, if I get out of sorts with it. All of that still has to be laid out, where the, property line is, the setbacks for green space, all of that are ordinance driven. And so, without the site plan to say, you know, where the green space needs to be, if any, and things like that, you wouldn't be able to start. But that's gonna be up to Joe in reviewing.
But that's just the outside.
Yeah, I think that's the outside stuff, as long as the C of O and all the rest of the stuff, the variances that were talked about earlier.
See the
Yeah.
building,
Yeah.
I'd be allowed to start, I mean, 'cause
Yeah.
I can leave my vans over there until we get this
Yep.
table, I just need to get those jetted ones
It
inside.
it shouldn't take too long to get that site plan and everything together.
Oh, okay.
So,
Okay.
you know, I think Joe said that, you know, you would require what kind of site plan for that?
Just a digital site plan, just that's dimensioned out, showing where the parking is gonna be and any sort of other, and all the setbacks, making sure those are all met, and then I guess for the overall site, that can be handled at a later date, so that way we can get your outside storage figured out first and then tackle the rest later.
Anything is good. I mean, like I said, mainly so I start on inside, you know, I still wanna do some cleaning up, put shelves up.
Yeah.
So I'm okay to do that.
Yeah, I think that goes with the
If it's
CFO. and I don't
anything
know where that's
inside
at.
is good.
Okay.
Okay.
And the fence was mainly the biggest thing because of just the weather. So I mean, if that's trying to get there before the ground freezes.
Right.
So we can just take a normal site plan and we can get offline and you can draw it up for you there, that way.
Yep, just as long as I can see where everything's laid out and,
Okay,
yep.
Okay,
Yep.
thank you.
okay. Any board members with anything? Nope.
No, unless we have another meeting, I'll say
Yeah.
happy holidays.
Okay, yeah. Well,
Well, we appreciate you guys.
No,
okay, well, thank
no.
you.
Good luck.
Thank you,
Okay.
thank you. I hope to see a long